What's up, freaks? This is just me, and today we're gonna be exploring the best physique of Dexter Jackson's entire bodybuilding career. So, the father time of bodybuilding, Dexter The Blade Jackson, started his amazingly successful pro career in 1999, and he competed till, wait for it because it's incredible, till 2020. Yeah, he's father time. He had a career that went on for more than 20 years, and he was on top for practically 4 decades of the sport. But anyway, in this video, we're gonna be mentioning a whole lot of versions from the years 2004 to 2015. Before that, Dex was taking off, and after, he maintained his physique so incredibly well. But if we're being frank, no one is gonna be as good as in their 50s as in their 30s or 40s, even though Dex did it better than almost anyone. So let's proceed to the honorable mention part of this video. On the left, we have the 2006 Arnold Classic. And we're gonna add one more version to this one, and that's the 05 Arnold, which I'm not gonna have a pick for. I'm just talking about it. Dexter was so incredibly consistent, literally the most consistent professional of all time, so I could list about 20 great versions of Dexter, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna stick to this format of 3 versions with a picture and 3 without, just mentioning them. So 06 Arnold Classic, standing on the left, is incredible with its great aesthetics, maybe not as huge, but certainly ripped. And so is the 05 Arnold Classic, which is very similar to that. It's only 1 year prior after all. In the middle picture is the 2008 Arnold Classic, which is just another good version of Dexter Blade Jackson. He was also incredibly ripped that year, in my opinion. He looked fantastic, and as I said, so much detail and condition. And the addition to this 08 version is gonna be the 2010 Olympia, which was as well a ripped and well-rounded version, as usual. After all, it's so hard to pick out particular versions of Dexter. He was always conditioned, right? But let's give one more honorable mention. On the right, we have the 2015 Arnold Classic Dex, who's not the most aesthetic, but he's dry as hell, especially from the back. We're gonna see he's insanely conditioned, and he had huge arms that year too. And the additional honorable mention, along with this 2015 Arnold, is the 2012 Olympia, which was a very complete and good, well-rounded version in all aspects. Looked great in the mandatories, I found, although it was from the rear end of Dexter's career, just as the 2015 Olympia. He looked just as good as when he was younger. So here in the side chest, look at the aesthetics of the 06 Arnold on the left, and the 08 Arnold in the middle is so shredded. 2015 looks good as well. And here we have a back shot. All versions look ripped, even 06 with that crappy blurry pic that I apologize for. 08 looks exceptional as well, with its shredded glutes and Christmas tree and great back details. Look at the traps, they're like columns going down all the way to his posing trunks. And 2015 is also very dried out, like an anatomy chart. And the most muscular pose, to conclude the honorable mentions, love this one from Dex. Hands clasp of 06 looks ripped and aesthetic at the same time, and 08 and 15's grab poses look amazing too. Especially look at the huge traps of 2015. That's crazy at that age, especially. So let's get to the main pose for pose comparison already, right? Even though these honorable mentions are great. So that's the main comparison. On the left is Dexter from the 2004 Olympia, where he placed 4th. He was a bit younger and fresh. detailed, all over, conditioned, and complete. So that's gonna bode well for him in this comparison, as you can imagine. Next to it is in the middle, 2008 Olympia. That's the Olympia winning version. Of course, it's good, but is it the best ever? I don't know about that. It's peeled, aesthetic, plus maybe more mature and bigger, but we're gonna see if it's gonna beat the other versions. And on the right, 2009 Olympia, which many bodybuilding fans claim is the best Dex to ever step foot on a stage, in spite of the fact that he was only third, only quote unquote, compared to his first place finish a year prior. But in my opinion, he should have gotten second, him over Branch Warren that year all the way. But anyway, what can I say? 09 also mature, very ripped, and we're gonna see if it was as complete and can beat the other versions. And here in the first pose, the front double, it's a good preview of what this comparison is gonna look like. It's gonna be very close in most poses, with the difference sometimes being made by the photo angle or quality, not the physique itself. So it's gonna be very hard to judge, but come on, let's go. We can do it. We got it. In third place, I would put 2008 in the middle, although it's very close. The arms of 08 look way smaller than 04's and a bit smaller than 09's. 2008 is better than 09 through the chest, but 09's serratus is sharper, and I think it's sharper overall. I'm talking about these details simply because other than that, these versions look virtually the same. So 08 gets third and 09 takes second place. I feel like 04 with the big and symmetrical biceps is just gonna take this pose, so it gets 1 point. Its midsection also appears more streamlined and defined in the abs, so it's not a complete blowout, but I would give it to 04 pretty concisely. Front lat spread. Sorry guys, I'm missing a part of Dexter's lower body. I just couldn't find it, but anyway, I don't think it would make a huge difference. Here, last place goes to 2009 Olympia on the right. The pose doesn't look very good. Dex appears very narrow, and he's executing the pose weird, which just looks odd. This is not a great lat spread if you ask me. And neither is 04's lat spread, but in my opinion is a little better than 09's. The pecs and wings have a way better display in my opinion, and he's just as sharp in 04, so 04 gets second. 2008 wins this pose because it's got a decent lat spread actually. The V-taper is there, the X-frame effect not bad, the abs, pecs, the wings and quads all actually look really good. So 0.209 here. Go to the side chest, where we have a different angle of 04, while on the other hand 08 and 09 look the exact same, so that's a tough comparison to make. Based on not only this pic of 04, but also other photos I've seen, I would put 04 last though. It's very hard to say, so honestly the judging here is slightly arbitrary, but 2004, in my opinion, from what I can tell, it was smaller and probably didn't look as sharp in this pose either. So let's just give it last place. Second place to 08 and first to 09 by a hair. Despite the difference of the photo qualities, 09 squats and delts look about 1% more striated, but it's so undecisive, so let's move on. Maybe the back development in the rear double biceps can help make some decisions? I think so. I feel like most people would agree. 2009 is losing this back pose. It's got more strided glutes than 08, but that's basically it. The hams look significantly more on in both 2004 and 8, and the back development looks much thicker these years too. I'll give him the delts and guns. That looks good in 09, but it's not enough. So it gets 3 points. 2 points go to 2004 or 2008. I would say hamstrings for 08 but glutes for 04, waistline for 08, back for 04 probably, and the delts and guns for 08. Whatever, I see it going the way of 2008 very slightly, giving it the edge for first place, but it could surely go either way between these two. Moving on to the rear lat spread, we have some better pictures, and we have a repeat of 09 getting 3 points, and this time, if you ask me, it's pretty much a blowout. It doesn't have as good hams, lower back, or lats as the other versions. He still looks pretty good and aesthetic for sure, but not enough to beat either of the studs standing next to him towards the left side. And this time I would go for 2008 in second and 2004 in first. 04's pose is a bit lopsided and looks odd, but the glutes are in, the whole lower body in fact, and the Christmas tree looks oddly shaped, but it's so shredded. The lower part of the middle back is definitely thicker than 08, which looks exceptional, with great aesthetics and better posing technique, but it's not enough. 04 takes the cake here, in my opinion, mainly because of the conditioning again. Side triceps pose, very similar, luckily, each year, but I see a little bit of stomach distension in 09's pose, maybe. I wouldn't put it last still, because it's beating the 2008 Olympia blade in the lower body and the arm. So 08 is last, and 04's winning this pose in my opinion, because it's got a big arm and shoulder. It looks like no stomach distension, and no, not the better lower section than 09, but I still prefer it because 04's pose looks better, and he's packed with detail despite the photo quality. So 1 point goes to 04 Olympia here. And we're getting to the end with the Ebb and Thigh Pose, in which the Blade, Dexter Jackson, looks incredible all the time, with his sharp abdominals and small waist. I see an advantage for 04 in the abs and obliques, while 09 looks great in the quads. And 2008's got the best balance between these two muscle groups. I put 2009 in third for 3 points, because the midsection looks the least streamlined, and that's slightly more important than the legs as I see it. That's why 04 is second. It's got an incredibly sharp midsection. But so does 2008, which also possesses the better set of wheels in this pose, so it has a better balance as I said, and pose overall if you ask me. So 1 point goes to 08. And now the most muscular guys battle for third, and second is between the versions towards the right as I see it, 08 and 09. And even though one of 09's arms looks significantly worse, look at the other arm. I would wager to say it's due to the different moment the shot was snapped in a different stage of Dexter hitting this pose. If you look closely, 09 has actually got a thicker chest, and overall it's slightly more conditioned and has got better separation. So 09 gets the edge over 08. So that's why 09 places second. And first place goes to the Blade of 2004. If we ignore the camera angle difference, he's got shredded delts, big arms, and the most ripped chest with a lot of striations there. That's why 04 wins this pose. So let's add up all the points from these mandatory poses. We have a third place finisher with 19 points and only one pose that it won. I personally think it should be a bit closer between that and the second and first place, but I would still agree on their third place finish. And it's actually the 09 Olympia. It was pretty surprising to see this result for me, but I think 09 just didn't have enough to make up for the deficit it gained in the back poses, where it was the clear loser. its lower back and also arms and abs uh, were the worst, in my opinion. And I think this version might be a little overrated. It's good and it's got a great lower body, but I think, for instance, the second place finisher here, '08 Olympia winning version, was superior to '09. The back and hams, especially, were really impressive in '08, although the glute striations weren't as apparent, so I think this version would have the upper hand over '09. It beat it by 3 points and 2 poses by having 16 points and 3 poses that it won, so it's not bad. But the winner is gonna be the '04 Olympia. True, it was a bit smaller with less impressive quads, but absolutely having the best arms and back, glutes, and abs too, in my opinion. The most complete, well-rounded Dexter I've ever personally seen. 4 poses on the score sheet and only 13 points. As I said, in my opinion, it was closer than that, but I agree this version wins because it looks incredible. But guys, don't forget to let us all know down in the comment section below your own thoughts on this one, because as I keep saying, it's almost impossible to judge such a comparison. Dex is the king of consistency. So, shout out to the veteran of our sport, the most accomplished IFBB pro. Feel free to tell me your favorite version of the man in the comments and also give him some praise because he deserves it. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to watch some Dexter Jackson videos and also like and subscribe. Enjoy the rest of your day.